it's always fun to be at the meetings with the Sheriff's Association. And I was just looking through the list of all the leadership of the Sheriff's Association today, and I've gotten to work with every one of them, and I have a good working relationship with them. You know, when I was governor, I always thought there was three primary jobs that a governor should do. One, do everything that they can to make sure everybody could get a job, so you have to have a good economy. Number two is make sure our kids can get a good education, and number three is you got to keep everybody safe. The reality is you can't do the first two if people aren't safe. No one's going to come here as a tourist. People are going to move here if they don't believe it's safe. Parents don't want kids to go to school. Kids don't want to go to school if they don't believe it's safe, right? So everything you try to do is tied to public safety. So I was always excited to be with the Sheriff's Association because I know our sheriffs are very focused on making sure every county in the state is safe. The other thing is I've always been impressed is how well they work together. I mean, they just don't care about their county. They care about every community in their county and every place else. They'll share resources. They'll show up if there's a problem. And so I've always been unbelievably impressed with the Sheriff's Association. When I was governor, we had 4 hurricanes. What you learn pretty quickly is the sheriffs are the key to what's happening in the counties. And I told, whether it's the utilities or whether it's telecommunications companies or anybody, I said, you need to build a relationship with the sheriff in that county before the disaster. Because the person's going to have the best information on what's going on and can make something happen the fastest in that county is going to be the sheriff. So I think the sheriffs are key to look at what's happening in Florida. Record unemployment. I think unemployment's still down. When I left, it was 3.3%. I think it's still down there. Record tourism, 126 million tourists my last year in office. You look at our school system. We got the best higher education system in the country, top 5 in K-12 education. It's all tied to what the sheriffs have done to make this a safe place for people. I'm always excited to be around the sheriffs. When the Parkland shooting happened within, I think, 5 days, I got a group of sheriffs together with a group of police chiefs together to come up with recommendations of what we should do to make our schools safer. We were able to get legislation passed because of the sheriffs and their influence in the legislature. Within 3 weeks, we got historic legislation passed that has never passed anyplace else in the country. So if it hadn't been for the sheriffs' involvement and their ideas, we couldn't have gotten those things done. So yeah, Florida is clearly a model for the rest of the country. When I left, I think we were at a 48-year low in our crime rate, all tied to what the sheriffs were doing. I think everybody in our state, and you ought to do everything you can to get to know our sheriff's departments, build a relationship with them. I can tell you what, our sheriffs will always show up. If you have a need, they try to surround themselves with the best people. They try to make sure they have the best training, and they're trying to make sure every county here is the safest county in the state. And what you're seeing is our crime rate keep going down. So when you are moving to Florida, or if you're living in Florida, what you know is you have sheriffs all across the state. They're going to do everything they can to make sure your neighborhood is a safe place to live.